All right, good morning, good afternoon, third and fourth graders. We are on the second part of our social studies review for this week, and you have the test coming up tomorrow. I will not have a video for that. You just have to go on and take the test after you've completed everything in chapter 11. We are going to be continuing on with the review in your book on page 414 and 415. And just like yesterday, I am going to be looking at the questions with you. I'm going to write down some answers. I want you to be thinking about what you think the answer is going to be. And then you have to go on to Google Classroom after this. And I believe I have put on there that you need to put down 4 or 5 things that you learned or took away from this review today, because I want to make sure that you're understanding this and you're ready to go for that test. Okay, so we left off on number 7, so now we're going to go to 8. And number 8 says, how have email and the internet changed the way people work? So people used to not have internet, email, things like that when they went to work. How do you think that would have changed it? Okay, so I want you to think about that for a second, and I'm going to write down an answer option. A little bit of a longer answer there, but that's okay. So again, the question is asking how email and the internet have changed the way people work. I wrote down that it has made it faster and easier to send and receive to get the information that you might need to get your business taken care of. And also on the bottom, I added e-commerce, because without the internet, we would not be able to shop online, which is something many people are doing right now, since we can't really go out and go shopping like we normally would do. Okay, so this is what is beneficial about the internet and email now in businesses today. Okay. Number 9 and 10 are multiple choice. So I'm just going to be writing down a letter that goes with the question. Number 9 says, which is an example of a raw material? So you got to try to remember what raw materials are. A, capital, B, workers, C, equipment, or D, water. So think about, what is a raw material? Now, way back at the beginning of chapter 11, we were talking about different types of materials that are used and resources that are used in a business. We had raw materials, human resources, and capital resources. So you need to think about, what are those raw materials? Okay. Give you a second. The options were A, capital, B, workers, C, equipment, or D, water. Okay, I have D, water. Water is a raw material because raw materials are natural things found in the earth, not something that is made. Okay. All right. 10. What was made possible by improvements in transportation? A, international trade, B, entrepreneurs, C, manufacturing, or D, advertisements. So all of these improvements in transportation that we've been having over the last 100 years or so have made an improvement in something. So what is it made an improvement in? Okay. Was it an improvement in international trade? An improvement on entrepreneurs, manufacturing, or advertisements? Okay, and the answer is that it has improved international trade, because the point being that all of that transportation has helped us be able to get those goods around the world where we need them to be. Okay, so international trade is what has become very useful at that time, at this time. Now, the next couple of questions are in the critical thinking part. And if you remember when we've done these reviews in the past, the critical thinking questions don't need to be worded a certain way. There's different possible responses. However, there are still wrong answers. So you want to think really carefully about what you would maybe put for something like this. So 11 says, what are some communication links in your house? So if you remember partway through the chapter, we learned what communication links were, okay? So let me just double check here. I believe that was back in like lesson 3 or 4. And it says a communication link is a kind of technology that lets people share information instantly. So if we're asking about communication links in your house, I'm asking you, what are some things you have in your house that allow you to share information instantly? So I want you to think about that for a second, and I'm going to write some of those down. Okay, so these are what we're looking for in communication links around your house. You might have a cell phone, your parents might have a cell phone, a tablet, the internet, email. All of those are communication links. They allow us to link with other people to get information across quickly. Okay. And then our last question, number 12. Says, why is it better for some businesses to provide only one kind of product or service? So you have some places like Walmart, for example, that provide groceries, clothes, electronics, sporting goods, toys, a whole plethora of stuff. And then you have other places that might only provide clothing or only food, or maybe you have a certain furniture store that specializes in something like fancy beds or something like that. Why would it be better for some of the businesses to provide only one type of good or service? So think about that for a second. Why would it be good to only do one type? I'm going to put down an answer idea. It doesn't have to be exact like you think it might need to be. This is just an idea of what you would put, okay? Okay, so I have a couple here that I'm going to share with you and we're going to talk about. So first of all, there are less raw materials involved. If I have a store that specializes in furniture, for example, I'm only going to be getting the raw materials that are needed for furniture making, like lumber, for example. Whereas another store that might sell a whole bunch of things is requiring many different types of raw materials. The second thing I put is the product is made better. So if I'm at a furniture store that specializes in a certain way of making it, that's all they do. So then they would be really good at doing that. Whereas if it was a place that sold beds and clothing and food and all that, they might not make it as well because they're split with needing to focus on other things and not make it as great. Then the last thing, the workers work faster. Whoops, it erased a little bit. If the workers know how to do their jobs because they do the same thing over and over again, it does make things go a lot faster when they're making the item. Okay, so that also helps out with that one. If you had something different or related to what I had on there, that would be fine too. You just need to make sure to remember that businesses usually try to specialize in one type of thing because they don't want to do poorly on many things. They want to do well with one type of product specific to them. Okay. When you are done with this video, you need to go on to Google Classroom and you need to write down 4 to 5 things that you learned during this part of the review to prepare you for the test. Then, once you've done all the review, once you've done all of the assignments in Chapter 11, you can go ahead and go on and take the Chapter 11 test. It should be up there on Google Classroom. And like I said, there are no page numbers right now. You just need to rely on either knowing the information or taking a little bit of time and looking for it in your book this time. Okay? Good luck.